welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner, and today we're doing another Get Fit With Me series, but it is meal prep edition. We haven't done one for a while, and today I'm filming this on a Monday. It's probably not going to come out though until Saturday, but I'm not exactly sure how we're going to do this. I was thinking either I might break it up into 3 parts, or it might be just 2, or it might be all. It's definitely going to be more than 1 part for sure. But I am planning on cooking 3 different things today. And if you're wondering why I'm looking down, I'm actually pulling up my meal prep list because yes, I have this all on the list of what I'm cooking for this week. So it's going to be 3 different things, and it's going to be 3 different things, and 2 of them, it's in my meal prep book, and 1 is just like a recipe that I have online, and that one should probably take the least amount of time to do, and that's probably the one, that's not going to take as much work. So I'm just pulling that up right now, and I want to be like, hey, I'm still here, guys. Hey, pay attention. But I'm just looking here. Yeah, for sure. So one of them is in a crock pot, so it's going to be slow cooking. It's actually going to be my breakfast for next week or so. So some of them I'm going to put in the freezer, clearly, because it's going to be going a long ways. And that's going to be called Crock Pot Southwest Breakfast Casserole. So it's going to be kind of like, I think the similar comparison is like if you go to like a diner, like a garbage meal, it's going to be kind of like that, but it's going to be healthier. So we have that on the docket. And then we also have spaghetti with spring vegetables. That's on the docket. And then the next thing that we have, sorry, I lost my spot, so I got to get it again. Okay, I think we're almost there again. Okay. And then the other one is chorizo and bell pepper tacos with a salsa verde. So it's going to be with green salsa. So we're going to go ahead and get that going. I'm not exactly sure what order of things I'm going to do. I'm probably going to do the crock pot one first because that's going to be really preparation. Then it's just crock pot. So we'll probably go with that first, and then we'll do the other 2. We'll do the chorizo after that because that's actually what I'm going to have for dinner tonight. And then we're going to also do the spaghetti with the spring vegetables. So we're going to do all of them. But the first part is going to be probably that crock pot Southwest breakfast casserole. So join me on that. Alrighty. So you're probably wondering why you're not looking at me. But as I mentioned before, the first thing that we're going to be cooking is going to be our crock pot Southwest breakfast casserole. And one of the first things we're going to do is wash the hands. So I'm going to do that right now. And this is probably going to take the longest to cook. So that's actually the other reason why we're doing this recipe first. And the next thing we need to do is, if you use cooking spray, which I do not, so I need to actually do something different. But you're supposed to basically spray a generous amount in the crock pot. I don't have cooking spray, so I'm just going to do it the old-fashioned way of just greasing the pan. Because I just washed my hands and I don't want my hands to get dirty, I'm just going to use a paper towel to spread the oil in the crock pot well, so I don't get my hands too dirty. So it's going to be one of the first things we do. And the next thing that it calls for is hash browns. And I actually got most of my ingredients for my meal prepping this week at Trader Joe's, mainly because it was more affordable, which, believe it or not, you would think Trader Joe's would be more expensive in this climate that we're in. And actually, these days, Trader Joe's is just as affordable, if not more affordable, than the grocery stores these days. So what it calls for, though, is to place half the hash browns at the bottom of the pan. So we're going to do basically a layer. So this is going to be fairly easy to do because we're just going to be layering out. But since I didn't have hash browns, we're doing the tater tots. And we're just going to do half and half. So half of this is going to go at the bottom. So I'm actually going to kind of just make it so it spreads evenly, and I'm just going to assume that's half. I'll do a couple more just to be on the safe side. All right, so this is going to be kind of a weird variation. It's not going to be quite the same kind of recipe, but whatever, it's fine. And then the next thing it calls for is half the black beans. Well, the recipe calls for 2 cans of black beans, so half is just 1 can. So it's pretty, that's one thing I like about this recipe. This is probably one of the more easier recipes. Also for the crock pot, it's not calling for this to be rinsed. Typically when I see recipes with beans, it usually calls for it to be rinsed, but I'm assuming we want the moisture to help cook things. So we're not gonna rinse it. We're just gonna drizzle it on there. And we're just gonna layer, and go from there. I am going to try draining it a little bit because I personally don't want all the extraness. And then this is just all this here. And I'm going to try to, get in on there as even as I can. Best I can type thing. There we go. And it kind of just fell. So it didn't quite go even. So I'm using this spoon to kind of move things on here evenly to kind of spread it. Because again, it's definitely giving casserole. Okay. So then that's all we do for that. I'm gonna rinse this out real quick. And then the next thing it calls for, and the thing that's nice about this recipe is that a lot of the ingredients it's calling for, that's half, it really is just like the whole container. So then the next thing it calls for is half of the cheddar cheese. And that's gonna be another case of the same thing. And it actually calls for cheddar, for it to be shredded. And for those who are new to the channel, welcome, but I think I should mention this. I do substitute things a lot, and one of the other things I like to substitute is I'm lactose intolerant, so I try my best not to do dairy if possible. So I found this also at Trader Joe's. It is a dairy-free cheddar, but it's slices versus the actual shredded, which in this case, since it's in a casserole, and because I kind of had an idea what I was making, because I think I've made this before, I wasn't as concerned. So I'm just going to try to just put these on evenly and call it good. And because it actually slices, it's going to be easier for me to put it on evenly. So I'm not going to lose sleep over it, just put it that way. But it calls for just one of these for the first layer, one package of it. Because it slices, I'm just going to make sure not get any of these in here. We don't want that in there, right? So this might taste slightly different because I'm not using regular cheese, but for me, I don't know how else it tastes because I've never made this recipe without, dairy-free cheese. So I wouldn't know the difference. So yeah, it's just, the thing is, this is actually harder to melt. So that's going to be kind of the only thing that I'm like a little concerned about. It's like, this is not going to melt as well, but that's okay. I'm trying to kind of make it where that's on here nice and even. Okay. So we have this whole entire layer of cheddar cheese. And then this is going to be super cheesy if you can clearly tell. The next thing it calls for is pepper jack cheese. And it's going to be kind of the same thing. This was an accident, but it's okay. I got Monterey Jack cheese instead, but it's also dairy free, but I got it shredded. This actually had to get at Mariana's. Easy one to do. And we just want to try to get this on there as evenly as possible. So then after that is half of the pepper and then half of the green onions. The pepper that is calling for is going to be a green pepper. And it literally this recipe literally calls for like 1 green pepper, medium size chopped. So it's only going to be half of this pepper that I'm about to do. So I'm going to need to chop this pepper real quick. I'm going to first clean it off and then do that. And I'm just trying to get the pepper, trying to get ready to go. And we're just only going to do half of it. And then also for the other ingredient calls for is going to be green onions. And it calls for a total of 6. So we'll do 3 for the first half. And then we just repeat the process. So this is like the easiest one to prep. It's just going to take the longest amount of time to cook. So that's why I just wanted to kind of get this one done. Second half yet. I just wanted to just cleaning it off, getting, the seeds out of there. And again, chopped versus sliced. So and for me, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be, decent. Not really tripping over it too much. And we want to just have this on here as even as possible. I feel like I'm already not doing that. It doesn't call for a lot. Next time I do this recipe, because I forgot that it doesn't call for as much as I like, I think I'm going to double up with the peppers next time. But, another time. Okay, so the next thing calls for is green onions. And we're going to do 3 for the first layer. And yeah, I got the green onions from Trader Joe's. It calls for more green onions than it calls for the peppers. To me, that's kind of strange. I'm not a fan of that ratio. So yeah, I think next time I'm going to switch it up into something different. But neither here nor there. That's just a side note. And the green onions are just sliced. And it calls for a medium. Which is pretty much what I have here, so. And I personally like all parts of the green onions, so I'm gonna chop it all the way to almost the end of it. Or slice it all the way to the end, but that's just me. I know not everyone loves it. I do. All right. And so it's a pretty green recipe. You could tell it's pretty green. Pretty green. It's just, I personally would like more pepper. All right, so we do that and then we repeat the process. And then the moisture of like the eggs and milk, salt, and pepper, we're gonna whisk that together and pour that on top. And then this will cook for 4 hours on high or 8 hours on low. I'm gonna do. Because I'm not going to get a full 8 hours because I never do. So there's that. I'll be up before then. So I'll just have this prep ready to go so that when I do get ready to execute and do this, I could turn it on. And then I'll give you what it looks like after it's done. Yeah, that's exactly what we'll do. This is probably going to be my only Get Fit With Me series meal prep edition for the month of May. That was the other thing I was high-key debating because, yeah, I have a lot. This is going to be a busy month for me, a very busy month. And today is probably the most chill day I'm going to have in a hot minute. So, hopefully you guys are doing well. Of eggs. I cannot. And whatever, you can use regular milk if you want. It doesn't call for whole milk, But I personally use oat milk for everything because I'm also someone who makes myself lattes very regularly and cortados, and like I do a lot of barista related type cooking. Well, I make a lot of coffee drinks, not really barista cooking per se, but like I make myself a lot of coffee drinks. So because I do that, and I do latte art still, even though I no longer work at a coffee shop, I still like to give myself coffee, latte, like coffee art whenever I do cook or do make coffee drinks. So that's kind of one of the things. And one of the reasons why I like to use, like I use I use thicker milk because that's actually the best way to do latte art is with that. So yeah, I don't know why words are so hard this evening. I was supposed to go to the gym today and I was supposed to run today, but it's been raining all day. And I don't know about you guys, and girls and theys and thems, but I am someone who my mood and my energy is very much based upon the weather. So when the weather is kind of just dreary, I kind of am too. So as much as I love the spring and I love that we actually been getting spring weather for once, I'm not used to it. I'm so used to it. For those who are in the Midwest area, you understand. It has went from winter to summer. I feel like that's been a thing for like a decade almost. And now the order of things are actually ordering, and it's kind of weird. Not used to it. And we didn't really have much of winter this year either. So it's kind of it's all odd. Which that's not normal. But I feel like that's a thing that everyone has been facing across the globe of irregular weather. Oh man. If you notice when it comes like whisking, because I'm whisking right now, I kind of am horrible at it. And the reason why is I typically don't use a lot of whole eggs when I make breakfast, like on the go. One whole egg, and the rest of it is like egg whites. So scrambling and trying to get that last egg yolk to scramble is something I am not the best at. Try and take my time. And I'll be honest, I know I only call for those things, but that's not enough flavor for me, so I'm going to add a little bit more. And this is one of my favorite things I like to add. This is like this, I get this from Trader Joe's. I don't know. It just doesn't have enough color for me. I'm just like, you know what? I can't. I need more color. Okay, so then the next thing we do after that is we're just pouring this evenly on top. And this is going to be kind of how this is going to go. I don't know how evenly I poured that, but it is what it is. I tried. Okay. So there's that. Yeah. And then I'm just going to cover this up. And we're not going to cook it yet. We're going to wait until like 9:30-ish to cook it. That way it's ready. And we're going to put it on low. We're going to do it for 8 hours. So, yeah. So for now, that's it for this. We will move on to the next recipe and stay tuned for part 2 of the Get Fit With Me series meal prep edition. Bye now.